Welcome, and thanks for joining. Today, we're talking about QR codes, what they are, the advantages they have, and how you can put them into action in your business. I'm Joe Malanchini. I manage the business development team here at Elixir. We talk to people every day about communications topics like this and more. So if you have any questions, please ask away in the chat or reach out to us on our website. Two of our teammates will be joining us with their expertise today. Greg is joining us from our account executive team. He brings more than 15 years of experience in the communication industry to the table and has worked with many market leaders in this capacity. Muhammad Yasir is one of our solutions architects. He has hands-on experience implementing digital transformations and uses his background to better help our customers modernize their processes. Thanks, team, for joining.
Thanks, Joe. Hey, Yasser, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Ever since COVID, I've started to see more and more of these QR codes pop up in my personal life everywhere. First started at restaurants, right? When instead of handing you a menu, there was a picture of a QR code and you scanned it and the menu popped up on your smartphone. But now I'm seeing it on like my billing statements, my like healthcare insurance ID card. So I thought it would be good to talk a little bit about QR codes and how they're used in customer communications. And I know the Elixir platform supports QR codes. So how about we start with what is a QR code?
That's a really good idea. The QR code is a graphical representation of some of the information that can be read by the scanner or our camera. So instead of writing the plain text and somebody has to type it in, look at the words and everything, and they have to type. So what users can do, the businesses can put that information, if it's a URL, and represent it or print it as a barcode, and the users can scan it using their cell phone, specifically the modern cell phones everybody has, and they have built-in support for scanning the QR code. So you don't have to type the URLs or anything. Just scan it, click on it, and they are good to go.
How is that different from a barcode?
But that's a really good question. So the barcodes, which are normal barcodes as compared to QR code, they require a scanner machine. And nobody carries scanner machine around in their pockets. Yeah. So when you are talking with the consumer consumer has a very intelligent device, which is their smartphone. They carry it in their phone, in their pocket all the time. And if they, like you mentioned earlier, that you go to the restaurant and they, instead of a menu, they give you a barcode. You scan it, and the all menu is over there. It's very easy.
So you can't scan a barcode with your smartphone.
You can, but you'd have to download an app, or scanner app, and nobody means. I don't know if everybody has that app really to scan everything around.
Got it. So I know there's two different types of barcodes. There's, I think they call it a static barcode, and the other one is a dynamic. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between those two?
Yeah. Essentially, both type of barcodes, the static and the dynamic, at the end of the day, they are QR codes. But when we say static, the static QR code has a static information in it. So for example, it has a URL for elixir.com website. So every time you scan, you will go to the same link, you'll go to the same page. Similarly, for example, there is a barcode who takes you to a menu. I would say, okay, takes you to download an app from the App Store. So that's a static barcode. It's just same all the time. But when we talk about the dynamic QR code, that has some encrypted information as part of the URL. It can have your authentication information, maybe authentication key. So I will give you example of your uh, ID card, which you receive, the healthcare ID card. So the benefit information changes every year. So when the benefit information changes, you can scan the QR code. It takes you to your personalized page and authenticates you automatically. So you don't have to put your username and password, and gives you updated information. So that type of barcodes are dynamic barcodes because it gives you every time a new information when you click on them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then you can also track some data, I understand.
Yeah, that depends on the application. It's a you are directing to. They can choose to track the information. Mostly they do. That's the industry norm right now. So also, whenever you click on a URL, that URL also sends a header, and that header has a lot of information in it, including your IP address, the location, and the time, and what type of browser you're using. A lot of information is sent to the server, and the hosting application can choose to store that information and track and everything, whatever they want to do with that.
I would think that tracking that user data would be very helpful to companies. I mean, is there a reason why you would ever want to do a static versus a dynamic? Why wouldn't you just always do dynamic?
That's also a really good question. It depends on the company's policy. Sometimes, based on some of the company policies, means you track the information because it's helpful for further marketing or maybe better user experience you want to provide. But sometimes this, for example, you are just pointing somebody to download an app. You can also track that how many people actually clicked on that link and how many people actually downloaded the app. So there could be a different number at the end of the day. So yeah, means it depends on again the company's policy whether you want to choose to track some information or want to choose to track all the information.
Yeah, well, I would think that's useful information, and I would think most companies would want to track it.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the different applications. Like, I think we all kind of experienced the menu use
Yep.
case where you go to a restaurant and you don't have to handle a menu anymore, right? You can just scan the QR code. But what are some of the other business use cases that you've seen?
So in communication industry nowadays there are lots of use cases. We'll talk about some of them today. One of them we just mentioned about the ID card. So ID card, which is healthcare ID card, which is sent to the members every year when they change their benefits or they enroll for the new plan, or the plan has some more benefits information included as part of their coverage. This businesses has to send the new ID card in the mail, and that card takes around 7 to 10 working days to receive to arrive at the door. So, and it's really expensive to generate an ID card because
Yeah.
it has specific equipment requirement, and then it gets a laminating and die cutting, and it has not a standard size. It has a totally different size, so it has separate and developing requirements as well. So it's really expensive to generate. So if we have, and lots of businesses are doing it right now, many healthcare companies, what they do, when they send an ID card, they also put a barcode on top of that. That barcode has all the customers and benefits information and authentication information encrypted into that barcode. If the user scans that, it takes them to a page which gives them up-to-date benefits information. And also, ID cards are a very small piece. It has a very small real estate. You can put so much on that. So it they also cannot put everything on that card. So when there is a big page, they can put and user can scroll. They can put all the information they want to give to the user. Uh,
I see that as being able to save a ton of money, right? Because benefits information changes every year, and if you don't, and sometimes even in the middle of the year, and so if you don't have to roll out new ID cards, print and mail, and all that, I could see that saving a lot. In fact, I think some states I've heard recently are actually mandating. I think I heard New Jersey. One of the plans is mandated. They're mandating it on I think one of the Medicare plans. But so member ID cards, right? That's a great use case for QR codes. It doesn't have to necessarily be healthcare, right? Anybody who has members could use QR codes on their ID cards. What about app downloads? I think most healthcare companies, finance companies, they've got their own app, right?
that's correct. So, for example, let's get an example of a credit card company. And as part of the marketing message, when they're sending you the statement, they also tell you, hey, we have an app. So instead of seeing your transactions and waiting for them in the mail as a credit card statement. You can go to our app, you can sign up there, and you can see your transactions in real time. Uh, for that, here is the QR code. Scan it, it will take you to our app, and you can go to that app, you can download it. So it results into very good user experience. So if they write, okay, go to bankofamerica.com/apps /Bank of America app /download, who want to type that information? And there might be spelling mistakes as well. So
Right.
they might not get to the right point. So instead of that, if there's a QR code, just scan it, go to the right exact download location, click on download, and get it.
And as we discussed on the previous topic, you can measure how many people have come and downloaded your app, right?
Yes, you can get the statistics and your success criteria or success metrics. Okay, you send that barcode to 1 million users, and out of that, half millions downloaded the app.
One of the things that I've noticed in my personal life is on a lot of my billing statements, I can recall my water utility bill, they're starting to put QR codes on them, which is leading me to marketing offers.
Oh,
And I think being in the business of customer communications, we've often advocated to our customers and our clients, you're sending out something every month. It's being opened, right? Because you got to look and see how much you owe, and then you got to pay it. And there's extra real estate on those statements that aren't being used. So I see, doing QR codes on some statements like that as being a great use case. What do you think?
yes, that's really good idea. And also, sometimes you would see that the marketing materials are in the form of logos, images. They take a lot of space, and which is really good because it makes the statement more beautiful, more eye-catching. But again, it comes to the same point. Hey, you are marketing your another product, but you need to go find more information at that product for that product, and you have to go that link. Who want to type that link into the browser? So again, at as part of the marketing logo, you can add a small barcode at the corner. You can scan it and go to that specific marketing you did if he's interested. So yeah.
And it's funny, whenever I see a QR code, I'm always thinking, oh, I wonder what that leads to. And so I
Yeah.
want to scan it, right? I'm like curious.
Yes, definitely. And that's really good point about the human nature. When you
Yeah.
cannot see something, you want to try to find out of your curiosity.
Yeah.
So if it's not written, you want to scan it. When you scan it, definitely you want to click on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are just a couple of examples. There's many more use cases we could go on and on, but let's now turn to some of the benefits of using QR codes in your customer communications. Obviously, the first one is rich content. Now, I do understand, this is a question for you. You could actually just have text show up when someone scans a QR code. Like there's a limit on how much text. I'm not sure how much it is. It's not a lot, but you theoretically could have a few sentences of text just appear right on the phone, right, when they scan it. Is that correct?
That's totally correct. Yes.
But obviously the big advantage of this is you can now provide rich content, right, by redirecting them to a URL, and you can make it all beautiful and pretty and engaging.
And also, part of the problem in the new era is that there are billions of web pages right now. Even after the SEO, search engine optimization, somebody search for you, they might not be able to reach you. So if there is already a communication at hand in your customer, and you want to take him to your specific information page, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And then dynamic, right? The fact that you can change the content and you don't have to reprint and remail a statement or a card, right? You can just change the back end, and now when they scan that QR code, they can go to the new content.
Correct. Essentially, they will go to the same URL, but new content will be presented.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course measurable, right? And I truly believe that there's power in data, right? And the more data you can collect on your customer, the better. So the fact that they're measurable to me is a huge advantage.
That's totally true. Yeah.
And then cost savings is a no-brainer, right? Instead of having to mail out new member ID cards every time a benefit changes, you just change the landing page. So big cost savings. Now, is it hard to create and add a QR code in a customer communications platform? Could you show us what it's like in doing it in Elixir?
Definitely, yes. And I'm glad you asked because it's really easy to do. Let me fire up my Elixir platform. Can you see it?
Hang on one second.
Sure.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so before I jump into that, so I'll be taking an example of a welcome letter, which is being sent to the new subscribers. So you will see that it's a beautiful, very simple form of communication, and that communication goes. That's the first ever communication that's done with the customer. Hey, welcome on board, and it has a little bit barcode on it, and we want to add a QR code on this letter. I'll go into my Elixir platform. The letter template has already been created, and this letter template generates this welcome letter. So what I'll do, I'll add a QR code and let's see how easy it is. So on the left side, we have all the tools available, and one of the tools is barcode. I'll click on it, and after clicking, I'll go ahead and draw. Just like any tool, drawing tool, you choose the tool and then you draw it on the screen, and you'll see I have drawn a QR code. The next step is to set its size and position. So position looks good to me. I can set the position by drag and drop as well. But the QR code, you might have noticed that they are perfect squares. So to do that, I will specify the width and height. So I'll say, okay, 50 by 50. So it looks more beautiful, perfect square. And the third step is to choose the type of the barcode. So I would like to mention here, we're talking about the QR codes here, but the Elixir platform supports more than 150 industry standard barcode types. And it's as easy as it is to choose from the drop down. So right now, the default is code 39, which is widely used barcode. That's why it's chosen by default. And also, because they're listed alphabetically, so that's why this has been also chosen from here. And while I'm going through, you will see there are many um, barcodes available here. Code 128, very famous.
Why are there so many? I mean, are they just different designs, different shapes, or?
Yeah, so different barcodes have different usage, and over the time, different industries have adopted different types of barcodes. For example, PostNet is adopted by USPS, United States Postal Service, and you will see that on every envelope or letter. That, that's there. And data matrix, that is mostly used by inserter machines. So nowadays, in the old days, you were seeing lines on your statements at some corner, and now they have been replaced with a small data matrix square, and that controls the inserter machine. So this page should go into the envelope, and this starts the envelope, and this ends the envelope, and this marketing material goes also into the envelope, and then folding happens, and everything goes put in. So that is controlled by data matrix barcode now. Yeah. And we have OMR, and we keep on going. We have postnet, certain variations, and at the end, oh, maybe I
Yeah,
missed.
you passed QR code. Yep.
Okay, yeah, QR code, simple. So I chose QR code from the drop down, and now what type of text I want to show. So I'll make a static QR code. I'll say elixir.com.
So that's where you put the landing page they're going to go to.
Correct.
Got it.
Do a preview. And you'll see.
So if anyone's watching this webinar, including myself, if I scan that, would it take us to Elixir?
That's correct. If you scan it, it will take you to elixir.com.
Oh, there it is. It's coming. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yep.
cool. That's all you got to do.
Yep. It's that easy as it is.
Well,
No,
that didn't take very long.
no. Except I was just explaining about the types of barcodes. Other than that, it only takes less than 15 seconds to do that.
Now, do you kind of have to know which one you need to choose, or can you just choose QR code if all you're doing is pointing to a landing page?
That's correct. So if you're pointing to a landing page, you will just choose the QR code, as we mentioned at the start, that for the QR code, it's a de facto or default type of barcode for consumers. That's why you are starting to see them. So we would recommend you put the QR code because everybody has their cell phone and they can scan it and go there. Don't need a scanner machine for that. So QR code is recommended.
Okay.
Here, choose.
Cool. Well, thank you, Yasir, for taking the time to show us that and walk us through. That's all we've got today for our presentation. If you've got any questions about barcodes or QR codes or customer communications in general, there's Yasir and my email, or you can visit elixir.com, and we would love to chat with you. Thank you for attending.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.